Welcome back to another episode of your Wellness Friend podcast, your go-to place every Wednesday for gut health tips, real talk, and wellness wins you can actually stick to. I'm your host, Frances, certified wellness coach and your personal guide to feeling amazing in your body, especially if you had your gallbladder removed, dealing with digestive issues, or just want to stop feeling like your food is the enemy. If this show has helped you in any way, would you do me a quick favor? Leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It helps more women like you find this show and start feeling better, faster. And if you're ready to take the next step, head over to my website to learn more about working with me one-on-one. Let's grab your matcha and let's dive in. Okay, ladies, we're back again. So that's it. We're at episode 10. Yep, episode 10. So when I first started this podcast, which we'll do a little bit of story time before we go into today's episode, but I've been planning this podcast for years, and this is back when podcast was first starting to come out, and I had an idea like this, and I said I want to get on and do something that kind of is like an audio book, or kind of like just a place where people could just listen and just feel the vibe and just feel like a safe space and be like, that girl right there, she gets me, or that girl right there, she understands, or you know what, that girl right there, we could be friends. And that is something that I've always had a passion about. And then of course, podcasting started becoming more popular. And of course, as time happens and life started happening and just all the things around us started going on, podcasts became more and more popular. And that's something that I was like, wow, I should have done this from the beginning. So one day I was in prayer and God just was like, do it. Just go ahead and do it. Like, I don't know what you're waiting for. Like, I've given you all the tools. I've given you ideas. I've given you everything. Just take the step of faith. And of course, as my sisters in Christ will know, when God tells us to do something, we're like, okay, cool. I'm going to do it. But I'm only going to do it like this. Or, you know what, God, I'll do the podcast. But you know what? Let me just do 10 episodes. And if it kicks off, great. And if it doesn't, at least I tried. And as I said in my previous episodes, ladies, the overflow of everyone just being so humbling and so nice and so caring and everything has really been like, wow, okay, I could really do more than 10 episodes. You know what? Let's do 20 episodes. You know what? Let's do 30 episodes. So I was sitting down, I was really thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep on going with it. I want for this podcast to reach the ears of the ladies who need it, when you need it, whatever season you happen to be in life. Like, I want for this podcast to just hit you right where you need it. And I pray that the episode that you're listening to in that moment really resonates with you and really kind of just hits those targets and allows for you to get an answer, or possibly, as I said before, get that feeling of, hey, you know, Frances knows me, or hey, you know, Frances and I could be friends. Like, I'm vibing with her. So yeah, so that I just kind of wanted to just say thank you once again. My spirit has been moving, my excitement has been growing, and I'm going to keep going. As I said, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go for it. So, ladies, in today's episode, I am currently, as I stated, in Florida, and we are at the end of August when I'm recording this. And right now, it is literally storming. We're about to get into hurricane season. And with hurricane season, of course, we have our days that, for example, I went out for lunch today and I was out for maybe 10 minutes. I went to the store. When I came out, it was a hurricane of rain. I got soaked. And I was like, wait a minute, where did this come from? How did it go from sunny one moment to like downpour torrential rains, like within minutes? And, you know, that just, once, I'm a very big person based on feels. So I'm looking at the weather like, ooh, this is a cute, like at my home, wrapped up in a cute blanket, sitting down, drinking my matcha, drinking a soup, or watching some Hallmark. So all my girls who are out there who love their Hallmark, I'm a Hallmark girl. I love Hallmark channels. I love love. And that's something that I'm just like, oh, the whole vibe is so cozy and so wonderful. But it also had me thinking, like, all right, these are why people have moments where they're just like, why am I always so tired? Or why am I just feeling like low energy? And I know that was a really weird segue, being like comparing rain to like tired and low energy, but those two kind of just flow together. So when I was thinking about this, you know what? Let's talk about that. So here we are. All right. So, and again, what I've been doing every episode is I'm really kind of just wanting to build a structure. So if you ladies are liking this kind of structure of just, the top three or just kind of like three focuses or three topics, I like to do things in threes, and it's been working for me so far. It gives me a nice little flow for the episode. But I kind of just want to kind of make it a little bit more personal. So when I used to think that being tired like all the time was just like part of getting old and having a busy life, because that's what happened. I was a young mom and I was a young wife, and I started working when I was 16, 17 years old, and I work, had two jobs, jobs at times. I was a young mom, so I was dealing with kids and kind of running around. I just was like, I'm tired because of that, or I'm tired because my life is just going crazy. But then after years of like dragging myself through the day and really having no real energy, I realized, okay, there has to be a simple fix that I haven't tried. There has to be something out there that will naturally recharge me, something natural that I could do. Because what happened is that I went through a season when I was worked at an actual server in a catering hall where I did monster drinks all the time. And I had to stop it because one day I went to go use the bathroom and my urine was like neon yellow. And I'm like, that's not normal. It should not be that way. And then, of course, just like many other people, and don't come at me, guys, coffee. Everybody's a big coffee thing and kind of living on that coffee kick. Or there was a time where it was like that 5 energy shot that people would just take just to give me, 5 hour shot that it would just give you like a quick little jump of energy. But it was like, okay, those things came with large crashes. That was the thing. It worked because you drank them. Within an hour of drinking them, you had energy. You were like Speedy Gonzalez and you were just kind of all over the place going crazy. But then when that crash happened, like that crash happened. And then what happened is that it just had me thinking, I'm like, there has to be more natural ways of doing this. So this episode today is really going to focus on, if you're feeling exhausted even after a full night of sleep, then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna explore how like the low energy in women and how your hormones and your gut health plays a role, and simply share like doable tips to help you feel more vibrant and alive every day. So the main points I'm going to be talking about today really are as follow. Number one, so common causes of low energy. There could be a good amount of things that could really cause that low energy. A lot of it could be just poor sleep quality or sleep disorders. Another big thing would be chronic stress and fatigue. Another good thing, but another thing could be gut issues that affect your nutrient absorption. And then you could be just deficient in a lot of nutrients. And that's kind of was my big thing. I realized that I was really deficient in magnesium. Another big popular one is B12 or even iron. Those are things that really cause you to have that common low energy feeling. And then of course it goes back, ladies, because like I said, my clients and a lot of the ladies listening here are kind of in that age range where hormone imbalance is a real thing. So you could check all of your levels through your doctor. Some doctors, you do have to specifically ask for them. Other doctors, like functional medicine doctors, they will do a nice full panel that will allow for you to check for these deficiencies. But that honestly is the most common cause of the low energy. For me personally, the poor quality of sleep, that's really where I realized I needed to first start. So I did things such as got myself an Oura ring that kind of helped me to have data to kind of work off of. I started to invest in good sheets and good pillows. It sounds funny, ladies, but it's true. That really that honestly really helped me. So, kind of going in that premenopause when I'm having my heat flashes, I bought cooling sheets. I bought linen sheets. I really bought good quality pillows that would help me just have a more consistent sleep. Another big thing was controlling my stress. As stressful as it is to control your stress, it's definitely needed and it's definitely doable. Again, as I said before in previous episodes, my house is pretty much a smart home. I have my lights turning off at a certain time. I really don't have too much overlight, and over everything is either a lamp or a light strip or something that is of a more medium to dim light. I have nothing sharp or nothing very cool tone in my house. Everything in my house is very warm. So it helps to put me in that relaxing state when I'm in my house. And then just as I said before, also just gut issues. And that's really what I focus with a lot of my clients is getting your gut to a good state, because if you're having heartburn, if you're having gas, if you're having many bowel movements when you're trying to get rest, your body's not going to really be in that calm state. And then of course, as I said, it's really going to affect your nutrients. So that definitely is a big thing. Now, another big thing, it would be the hormone to energy connection. For example, we have how your thyroid dysfunction can actually slow down your metabolism and actually cause fatigue. Thyroidism is something that sadly is becoming a very popular thing nowadays because of the things that we eat and the lifestyle that we have. It's something that does really cause a lot of just slow down in your body and just fatigue, really, like honestly, just simple fatigue. And honestly, I know cortisol was something that is just starting to become popular right now, which is a good thing, because having too high or having too low of a cortisol level in the body will cause exhaustion. So if, for example, if your body's in that constant fight or flight mode, when you're finally starting to help your body balance out, because that's honestly what happened to me in my beginning years, just being on that constant go, 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 worrying about bills, worrying about my kids, worried about my marriage, worried about work, worried about just everyday stuff. I was constantly going. I would sit down, I would lay down in bed, and my brain never stopped. And I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day, and they were saying the same thing, that they lay down, but their body might be resting, but their mind is not. Therefore, it's constantly like go, 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 go. And that causes your cortisol level to be imbalanced. You want your body to naturally go ahead and have its cortisone high when you first wake up, because it gets you ready for your day and it gets you going. But then by the nighttime, your cortisone levels should be lowering so that your body can start going into that calm state and can start going into that relaxation bedtime state of mind. But what happens is that when you're constantly all over the place, or it's nighttime and you're thinking about, okay, I have to do this, another, your mind is still in like, okay, we have to go, go, go state, that you never really rest. And by the time your natural flow of your cortisone happens, when it's coming down and it's coming to a normal relaxation state, it's already morning. And your body is like, okay, we got to go. And your mind is like, wow, I just slowed down. Like, what are we doing? And that causes exhaustion, really knocks somebody out. It really makes you exhausted. And then, of course, it definitely comes down once again to hormones. So another thing would be your hormones. So if you are more of an estrogen dominance and a progesterone deficiency, it does affect your sleep and your mood. It does have to be taken into consideration. Because what happens is that, again, it's all about a balance. Our body is meant to be balanced out. Our body is not meant to be in one state or another for too long. And that's something that I learned when I started my schooling, when I started entering, because I have graduated from IIN and doing my studies. That was the biggest thing. They had you go ahead and use yourself as your first client, which is, I think, the greatest thing ever, because if you can't make yourself do these things, how are you going to coach anybody else to do these things? And when you come across certain things as you're learning about it, it really allows for you to be like, wow, okay, some people like myself didn't even realize these things were going on. People like myself didn't even realize that the imbalance was so severe that it caused so many of these things. So for me, once I started really learning and using myself as my first client, I had giant like aha moments throughout my schooling because I was like, wow, it really is something that you just don't pay attention to, really, honestly. Or another example would be gut health and energy. This is kind of why I, as a coach, decided to focus on gut health, but also gallbladder, because both of these things have played a major part in my coaching and my studies. When I realized that a lot of my issues had to do with my gut, and I started to attack my gut issues, and then realized that on the side, I had gut issues because I no longer had a gallbladder. Those two kind of went together. Those two were married together. And that's why I have chosen to move forward and really help clients like myself who deal with both. And my gut health and that issue was directly connected to my energy. So because of me having poor digestion, it also limited my nutrient absorption, which is what I need for energy. So yes, every once in a while, I would go ahead and be on a kick, as I mentioned in previous episodes. I will start one day, stop the next day, and I would have take some B12 every once in a while, be consistent for a little bit, stop again. I'll take, supplements, other different supplements, and stop again. And what happened is that my body, no matter how much I was doing it, was not absorbing anything because of my poor digestion. And it was just killing me. It really was killing me. And another big thing, which personally, I really do help, I would say a good 90 to 85% of my clients all deal with inflammation. I've said it before. I say it all the time to clients that I meet in my studio, the wellness studio that I work at, that inflammation in the gut can lead to systematic fatigue. If your body is so inflamed, if your body is literally like a puffer fish, you will never be able to function at the level that you should be functioning at. So inflammation, if you think about that, inflammation is really such a crucial part. If your body is constantly inflamed, it means that it is hot. It means that it is agitated. It means that your body and your organs just do not function in the way that it should be. It's way too much space. It's way too much, just way too much of everything. And what happens is that your body, because your body is always taking care of you, your body is working extra hard to bring down the inflammation and not able to do what it needs to do in other places of the body. So of course that within itself just brings fatigue. So people who are inflamed, and this is something that, to bring it back to personal, with my daughter now that she's actually changed her eating habit and changed her lifestyle, she's realizing that she's been on this lifestyle change for probably about 6 to 7, almost 8 months now. And just the other day, her and I had a conversation. She's like, wow, mom, I feel like I've lost weight. And I looked at her and I'm like, yeah, babe. And a perfect example is clothing. So ladies, always good to think. Number one, always take photos. Don't look at the numbers on the scale. Always take photos. And then also clothing. So there was a shirt that she wore that she loved. It was one of her favorite shirts. And even when she started to be more heavier or actually inflamed, which we did not realize, but her being inflamed and having that puffer fish kind of moment, she loved this shirt, never wanted to give it up. And I was like, no, that's your shirt. Love it, wear it, be happy in it. And what happened is that just that other day, she put on this shirt and it was loose on her. And she's like, wow, mom, look at this. My favorite shirt is now loose. And she's like, I'm not too sure where it's coming from, because when I go on the scale, I still weigh the same in pounds. And I was telling her, it's amazing and it's proof how literally, if you are inflamed, you can look so much heavier than what you actually are. Now her gut to brain axle is pretty much has influenced her physical and her mental energy. So now because of that, because the fact that she has now worked on her gut and she's eating all her good things and she's gone gluten-free and dairy-free and she's removed the food that was causing her inflammation, her brain is like, okay, we're good now. So now that we're good and our gut is moving as it should be, as I was giving the example in our episode with the gut brain connection, now there's no more debris in her highways between her gut and her brain. So now her body's like, okay, cool. Now we're good. So you know what? Let's take the energy that you're feeding me and now let's use it towards different parts of the body. Let's start bringing down the inflammation. Let's start getting rid of the water weight. Let's start making you sleep better. Let's start really allowing the body to take care and repair itself. So that has been a tremendous thing that personally, firsthand on hand, I've been able to see, which of course, as a mom and my mom's out there, you want nothing but the best for your children. So that really helps tremendously. So a good way to really just fix and boost your energy naturally would be some of these things I tell my clients, and the things that I really, as I said before, really use for myself personally. I use myself as an example first and foremost. What I did was that I prioritized quality sleep with good hygiene and routine. So as I said, I changed my sheets. I bought better quality stuff. I changed around my house. I got myself into a routine that, as I've told many of my friends and colleagues and any of my clients, I've told them that my house goes to bed at 10:30. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're visiting. All my lights go to bed at 10:30. My dog is used to going to bed at 10:30. It's already 10:35 and she's looking at me like, "Mom, are we going to bed?" And that's how it's been for a few months now, almost years, and that has made a major help in everything. And then another thing, like I said, good hygiene, because that actually, if you're in a nice, clean environment, if your sheets are clean, if your room is clean, it really gives you a more quality feel while you're in bed. Another big thing, as I stated, stress management, being mindful, breathing exercise, movements. That's something I also did as well for quite some time when I was first starting. When I was first starting, what I would do is that I would do breathing exercise. I would sit in bed, I would put on an eye mask, and I would do my breaths. I would breathe in for 4, and I would let out for 4. And I would breathe in for 4, and I would let out for 4. And I did it a few times, and I would just let it go. And it allows the body to just kind of relax and be in that relaxation state. And what I would do is movement. When I'm taking a shower, I will do stretches. I let the hot water run on my body and I'll do stretches and just kind of really move and twist and let the flow of my body, let to my body, okay, it's time to relax and to be mindful. So mindful for me personally, what helped me was that I started to, for quite some time, I would need sound to go to sleep. And my husband would have TV on and he would have the TV playing. And it's like, I would be sleeping, but I wouldn't be sleeping because I'll be hearing the news and hearing what's going on. And I would wake up and, he'll be speaking or the kids are speaking or something's going on or my son's playing video games. And I was just like, okay, there's too much going on around me that I can't be calm. So what I started doing is that I started going ahead and putting on earphones. And in my earphones, I would go and play calming music. And I would have it, the sounds of the ocean and the sound of the rain, and put my body in that quiet state. Another big thing, and this was a big one for me, to be honest, ladies, hydration. I would start drinking water anywhere from like 3 to 4 hours before I was getting ready to sleep. I would have about 3 or 4 Stanleys. I would fill my Stanley cup at least 3 to 4 times before going to bed. And then knowing that before I went to bed, make sure I used the bathroom and I was good. And don't get me wrong, having that much water in the beginning, I would wake up in the middle of the night. I would have to use the bathroom again, but I would lay back down and knock out. It wouldn't be something that once I got up, I had to like sit down and figure myself out again and try to get myself back to sleep. It was something my body just already knew. And then of course with that, kind of going hand in hand would be balancing out my meals. I really had, and I balanced out a good amount of protein, fiber, and healthy fats throughout the day. That's something that is controllable. You are able to do that. It does tie into everything else, but honestly, if you don't have a good balanced meal throughout the day, you will feel it. Your body will feel it throughout the day. And of course, as I stated, supplements. And some to consider was magnesium, B vitamins, vitamin D. That definitely helped me overall just start to calm down. Now I take 2 pills of magnesium before bed every night, and I am out like a light. And my husband, he was never into it. He was like, no, no, no. And now him and my son, because men do need their form of magnesium as well. It's not just for us women, for the men as well. Now my son and my husband do have magnesium pretty often, and they knock out at night. And they both work in the food industry. And it's, if anybody knows who works as a server or anybody who works in a kitchen, you guys know that that is an extremely stressful environment. And you are usually out till way past midnight, just closing up and getting yourself ready. So when you come home, having to decompress after such an active, stressful environment, you know, a lot of them don't know how to begin that. And magnesium has been a major, major thing in both of my men's life. So with that being said, guys, honestly, with fatigue is one of the most common complaints that I hear from women over 35. And to be honest, I'm just keeping it real, a lot of the time it's often dismissed as that's just life. When someone says, I'm tired, people are like, just get over it. It's life. You know, that's just how it is. You know, that's what you have to get used to. But chronic low energy, what it does is that it impacts your mood. It impacts your relationships. And it impacts the ability to really enjoy life. So my advice, ladies, is address the root causing. And my advice, ladies, address the root that is causing these problems and make those life-changing options. Really decide to put yourself first, to go ahead and bring that focus to you. Because feeling tired all the time isn't normal. It's your body's way of asking for support. And I said it once, I've said it again on this podcast. Your body will tell you. Your body is an amazing thing. And your body will tell you when something's wrong. Pay attention to it. Because making these small changes can really create a big shift of energy in your body. And you don't want to have to push through it. And you don't want to be just getting by. You don't have to push through this exhaustion alone. That's what I'm here for. So I definitely want to encourage you guys to go ahead, and if you haven't yet, stop by my website. I am going to be having a free energy boost checklist that's going to be there for download. You could definitely check it out. It's going to go ahead and kind of just help ease like daily habits to help you reclaim your energy. And if you're ready for a more personalized support, because that's what I do with my clients, book a call with me. Book a discovery call and have you and I just call. We'll meet, we'll vibe, and then we'll plan something out that's going to fix your life. Something that's going to fit into your life. Something that's going to really allow for you to have a balance. Because again, as a wellness coach, my job and the blessing that I get to do is I get to just hold everybody accountable. You guys get to hold me accountable and make all of my coaching calls and all of my clients a very personal thing, because being in this kind of state in your life, it takes power, it takes vulnerability, it takes a safe space to be had so that you can allow for someone else just to give a helping hand. All right, ladies, and we are at an end of our next episode. So again, I want to thank you guys so much, and we will definitely check in on the next episode. We'll see you in episode 11. Bye, guys.